I don't know what I'm doing. And maybe that's a little harsh, but it was certainly true when I started Dustups. And when you look at these drone shots, it looks like I've torn up the desert for no benefit. The wins so far are fleeting moments after it rains. The dams keep feeding the groundwater, the terraces give me a blank slate to practice agroforestry, and the dirt bathtubs have filled up around a dozen times over the last 2.5 years. I expected more out of the dirt bathtubs, and that's when somebody walked in and saw what I couldn't. I'm learning that many of the things I'm doing are directionally correct. It's not so much looking for a hack or a magic fix, it's making small tweaks that have big impacts.
I mean, the first thing I noticed was where the water was going. You know, assuming the water overflows here, what I would do is then have another basin right there to capture the overflow. I would just emphasize the arrangement of the dams to look like fish scales. So if everyone can visualize fish scales, that would be a good visualization of what the best strategy for the basins.
Let's work on this one actually, because I do see the water path.
This one?
The one right in front of me. I'm gonna break it down with this little pick, and then if you wanna just shovel it over. You served in the Peace Corps in Zambia,
right?
In a pretty remote area.
Yeah, so I was in Eastern Province, Zambia. I was about an 8-hour drive from the capital, which is Lusaka. Very remote, and I was, I think, like 3 kilometers from that road in a village with no running water, no electricity, which was a fun experience. I was an agroforestry volunteer. So I was promoting tree planting and tree conservation. There was a field that was really eroded, so I wanted to rehabilitate the field, and half moons was my idea of the best strategy to rehabilitate the land, because the half moons would, collect all the water, prevent it from just becoming one mass. Instead, it would separate it into all these small pockets, and all the more fertile soil would wash down and actually collect in the half moon basins. And then you have grass start growing and other plants. I threw pigeon seeds everywhere, and a lot of them grew. And especially the ones with in the half moon basins, they grew up to 2 meters after a year.
Wow.
Whereas the ones that weren't planted near a basin, they were only a couple inches.
Wow.
So the half moon basins make a huge difference.
This one overflowed. That I can definitely tell. I see the path right here. We have all this Ocotillo mulch, and then I can see the overflow on the left side right there, and then it spilled to the tub right below it. Can you see the water line?
Yeah. Okay, yeah, I see it.
Right there.
Yeah, so that's perfect. That's exactly what you want. You want when one overflows, you want it to flow into the next one, which isn't always easy to do.
No, and I think it's going to be a lot of, because we didn't use a laser transit when we made these.
Yeah.
Some of it is just reading the water lines, figuring out where it's flowing, and then so this one is catching the overflow from a dirt bathtub, but then it's sending it downhill, and I can see it's zigzagged and missed 3 or 4.
Yeah. I guess kind of just extend the berm out so it goes more out laterally.
Okay.
And that way, when it overflows, it doesn't miss the next basin. So if this were knocked down and put right here, then the water would flow from one into the other.
Cool.
But I had it a lot easier because I was digging in sand with no rocks. The soil is mostly rocks. Digging through rocks is very hard.
This little pick is probably the easiest way to do it, just to make sure that the first little drops are correct, because then as the water flows, the water digs the channel for you.
Yeah. So right here, this is where, you know, we could get material from, because it doesn't really make sense to have this little mound on the side. But yeah, it's like impossible to dig. You just hit a rock.
Yeah, you have to, like, breaking this stuff up, it's super important, because otherwise you're never going to get the shovel under it.
Yeah, but we really want to target the back, like
Okay.
everything behind here.
Okay. All right, now it should be shovelable.
Hopefully I'm not throwing dust on you.
No, you're good.
Yeah, breaking it up definitely helps.
Not my first rodeo. And then maybe I should just dig a little channel to connect here to here.
Yeah.
I want to be confident the water is actually going to make it on the first pass, because I don't want to be out in the sun working and sweating for nothing.
Yeah.
All right.
You don't want this berm right here. You don't want the mound of dirt before the basin, because that's going to deflect the water out of the basin.
Right.
You'd really want the mound right here to keep the water into the basin. And all of these basins seem to be similar, where the overflow is kind of on the front left corner.
Yeah, you can see it's like in this case, instead of flowing to that one with the dead lechugia where my finger's pointing, it's instead going down to that one, which is where we have that little sorghum attempting to grow.
Yeah, okay, I can kind of see now where the water flows.
Exactly. So we could catch some of this water and keep it, you know, every basin 3 or 4 feet higher up the hill.
Yeah, because you get so little water, you don't really need holes everywhere to capture the water locally. It makes a lot of sense just capture it at the end and then concentrate it at the end.
Yeah.
Which you've done with the dam, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, it works perfectly.
Which actually, this is probably a good update for everybody. It's now the middle of August, and so this little green patch, not a coincidence that it's here, because it's behind a dam. And this got maybe, per rain event, maybe 2,000 gallons, maybe 1,000. I'm not exactly sure. I haven't calculated, but you can see I haven't put any seeds here ever, and there's annuals growing like crazy. So the pioneers are here.
So they're aligned well. They're kind of offset, but because the berm is right here, well, it deflects the water downhill.
Yeah.
So we could just move this and then put
A couple
it there.
shovelfuls fixes it.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah, and even though it's going to overflow right
Who's
there.
that?
Is that?
I don't know if it's Border Patrol or not.
How often do they come out here?
Sometimes you'll see them once in a couple of weeks, and then sometimes you don't see them for 3 months.
Yeah.
Hey, it's Scott and Mikey. That's a good time to stop. Your truck looks so official. I thought you were some kind of government agency.
Hey, well, that's what we're going for.
Sorry, I got gloved hands right here. We'll fist bump because
It's a lot different around
does it?
here. Wow, well, it's been what, 18 months or so?
Has it been that long?
Maybe even closing on 2 years. I don't know. I have to guess and see or look and see when the last one was. Your roads are a lot better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Roads looking good, man. Ocotillos washed it out green right now.
Yeah.
Very sure are.
Okay, and here's the other one we did. So this fills up, overflows to here. See that sediment deposit? I don't think that was there before. So this did overflow and it worked. So we had water flow from here down to this one, and then I think if I was working right now, but I'm really tired from being in the sun, I would armor that part to make sure that it's above here, and then that way it passes there and then slides down to the next bathtub. Anyway, it's off to a good start. You can see some of these where the flow naturally works, how much more full they are. So we have trailing 4 o'clock and a little Arizona poppy here, and then that feeds into this guy, which is really thriving. We got creosote, don't know, that's not grandma, so I'm not sure what that is, but it's a grass. We have stinging serpent, a really healthy Arizona poppy, and then this grandma that was there before this was dug, but you can see now that we have total ground cover where these have filled up consistently. And then same thing here, we got side oats grandma just outside, just barely inside. That's, I don't know if that is original or not. Trailing 4 o'clock, some bush I don't know the name of, more stinging serpent, Arizona poppy growing down there, same plant as the last one. So we've got a really nice diversity of species that are placing a foothold. And I can't tell, but from a distance I might have American sneezeweed in there too. So, progress. Got a long way to go, but definitely better than when we started. Whether I'm riding up to the terraces to irrigate the low tunnel or heading over to the canyon to check on flood damage, the X-Peak from Electric E-Bike is the way that I get around the Dustups Ranch. They're the sponsor of today's episode, and I think you should give them serious consideration because it's an awesome e-bike. If it can handle the terrain out here, it's going to be able to handle whatever city or suburban living you're dealing with. I've taken this thing 200 miles off-road, and all I've had to do is routine maintenance. This thing is super easy to upkeep, the tires are tough, the bike's tough. You can see some scratches, I've put some wear and tear on it, and sometimes I even take it for a joyride. But really for me, this is the best way to get around because I mainly have trucks and I don't want to put the wear and tear on the engines. It makes so much more sense to just get on an electric vehicle or an e-bike to zip around to wherever I need to go. And I'll be honest, this thing is way more fun than getting in a car. Electric e-bikes are affordable for almost anybody. Starting bikes are under $1,000. Get outside, have some fun, get on an electric e-bike, and go explore the great outdoors. Scan the QR code that you see on the screen or click the link in the description. Supporting my sponsors like Electric E-Bike is the best way to support my efforts out here if you're enjoying this content and you want to see more of it. And get yourself a sweet, sweet ride. Go check out Electric E-Bike. One of my favorite podcasts is 99% Invisible. The idea is simple. Design choices you don't notice are often the ones that matter the most. Moving the nursery was that kind of choice. I've seen many comments over the last year where people recommend that I move to the nursery, and I read those comments and immediately thought, why? It's literally a 2-minute walk from camp to the nursery, so why would I even bother moving it? I know that everybody watching is missing the full context because of the way people react when they come to the ranch. They're always surprised at the difference between the video and the in-person experience.
But yeah, I was super excited to see everything in person. You get a different perspective on the ground compared to in the videos.
I am curious to get your thoughts on the nursery because we're not at all pot committed to this. We can store water in that tote over there. And I did build this so that it can be depressed to modulate the temperature just a little bit. That wasn't something that I had planned though. This is a chicken run and I was curious to see if I could put it closer to camp.
Yeah, I would definitely have it closer to camp because it's kind of inconvenient coming out here. And when it's next to camp, you can check up on it so you see how it's progressing. But the cage works well because when we moved those plants to camp, the mice ate them. So
Yes, they did.
organize it a little bit better because
Well,
it's kind of cramped.
there's no organization whatsoever in there.
Right. It looks a little chaotic right now.
It's an utter mess. There's
Yeah.
no way to sugarcoat it. It's just a disaster right now.
Yeah, I liked seeing the nursery when it was first made in the video.
Yeah,
It looked very nice, and now it's,
it's a disaster.
yeah. What would be really nice is to have an automated watering system for the nursery.
Well, and that's another advantage to if we put it near camp, we have electricity
Yeah.
and pressurized water there.
Right. With nurseries, I like to shade plants a lot. Because I mean, like, if you think of like the jungle, for say, you know, plants that are starting from seed get no sunlight and they grow all the way up into the canopy.
Yeah,
So, you know, plants don't need that much sunlight when they're starting out.
okay.
And I think it's, you know, it's a trade-off. I think it's better to have less sunlight, which means more shade and more conserving of the water. It doesn't dry out as fast.
Makes sense. Okay, we'll take these little black totes and that should make them less likely to crack under the weight if we split the load. That's gonna crack.
Where's this going? Where's this going?
On top of the trailer,
Okay.
I think I gotta spin around. Just go ahead and let it fold. Okay, and now I'm gonna walk it this way. Go ahead and go to the other side and just support it. Yeah. I'm gonna turn right here and try to line it up. Totally road legal. Now let's just put it in place. So let's fold it off towards you and just get it to, just go ahead and lift it. There we go. And it's caught on the, push to me, there we go. Okay, and then careful, careful, go ahead, stop if you can. Okay, and then me and Mikey are gonna back up, and our backs are gonna touch that white wall. There we go, and then just push it so it's right next to it. There we go, nursery.
Wow. Nice right there.
I like it. We can figure out how to straighten the frame and make that a little nicer, because that is,
It's functional.
it's good enough for a very basic fix, but here, let's prop it open because we're gonna be in and out.
Yeah, I was just looking at it.
Okay, I'm gonna put the shelf in first.
So much for my sitting area.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, I know how to get you to check on the plants. It's like, I'm gonna put all the plants in the shaded area, and then now you gotta look at them.
Yeah, that works. I mean, it makes more sense because it's close to the water too.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, is it's not just closer to the water, but the pressurized water, so it's easier to take care of them. Yeah, this is good because now this is blocking the south and the west sun. So now we can put all those pots on the east side where they're only going to get morning sun, and the UV isn't going to degrade. And then eventually we can have shelves and tables, and if we had Ralphie's workbench intact, like, I would just move it right here, and
Yeah, well,
it got repurposed. But I'm gonna start putting stuff right here.
Is that all soil you made?
Yeah, well, me and Brandon and Daniel. Oh, that's goji berry, so I'll put it inside. You know, that's a mulberry.
Okay.
I think just set it over there. Maybe this, we actually will save it. Okay, let me, right there. So that one actually needs to come out and go in its own little pot. Okay, so this is sweet acacia, not germinated, that's sweet acacia germinated. And what I'll do is I'm bring the hose over. This one's germinated too. And I want water on the bottom for humidity. Daniel.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so the system is ungerminated sweet acacia, germinated sweet acacia.
Okay.
All you got to do is lift this lid, make sure there's water on the bottom, and if there is, all the topsoil will be moist.
Okay.
And I'm going to label all this now.
That's a good idea.
Advice to a problem is useless to somebody unaware that they have a problem. Moving the nursery is one of those design choices where 99% of the benefit was unclear to me. But now that the nursery's at camp, I'm sold, and I'm in there constantly. It's a place where I can spend time outside, but I'm underneath the shade cloth. It's a very inviting space, and it's easy to just wander in there, partly because I really like working with the plants. Now that I'm seeing 99 reasons why moving the nursery was great advice, I'm going to take a big bite of humble pie and ask you, What is the one thing driving you crazy that you think I should do? But do not give me the answer. Tell me why it's a real problem. Make me care. Make me understand it's a problem. This is all because of you making me reorganize it, so thank you. Now, because I had to redo everything from scratch, it's super organized when you walk in. Like there's an aisle and a row. We'll be able to fit probably a dozen totes in there easily, maybe even more, where everything's accessible and organized.
Right.
And we move from germination, like from pre-germination to where we're controlling the humidity, and then the ones without the lid are the ones that have germinated. So like there's a system, it's organized. Next step is to figure out the production schedule, like how many of these do I actually need and over what time frame, but that I'm figuring out.
Yeah, I mean, it looks great. It looks super organized.
Well, yeah, I wanted to show it to you because you were the impetus.
Okay.
Before I show you the living fence that Blaise took on his own initiative, I want to help him out because he's made an enormous impact on the ranch in the week that he's been here. Blaise spent 2 years in the Peace Corps. He just got a master's degree in quantitative economics, and he's looking for a job. If you're looking for somebody that can own projects and has a high degree of motivation and can get things done, give this guy a shot. Blaise is an algorithm guy. He wants to answer and simulate problems. The ideal outcome is game design. But he's also done a lot of self-directed projects just out of his own interest. We've been sitting here having a discussion where Blaise spent 80 hours building his own data set, comparing English and Nyanja, which is the language that he had to speak in the Peace Corps, so that he'd be able to go to the next step, building a model.
What I really want to do is use it for NPCs, so you can communicate with NPCs in a game. That's the real intention.
Okay.
But it could also just be used for any AI, like to communicate with an AI. You get the AI like, hey, go do this for me, and it works. Like, think of an LLM, like ChatGPT.
Yeah. So if you're looking for somebody that does that in their spare time for fun, which is a really big endorsement, like Blaise is speaking my nerd language, and he likes data, he likes analytics, he likes algorithms. So if you are looking for a junior quantitative developer, algorithm developer, give this guy a shot, and we'll put your website on the screen.
Okay.
And that'll be the best way to reach out to Blaise. Or if you know of an opportunity, this guy's in the market. You want to give me a tour as you wrap up?
Well, planted the Ocotillo.
Yes, you did.
So the Ocotillo were collected from the area that was about to be bulldozed. So it was saved in order to make the fence. There wasn't enough to make a really thick wall. It was pretty sparse. So I filled it in with dead Ocotillo branches. Now I'm watering, well, at first I put charcoal at the bottom. I'm hoping they'll absorb some water and hold the water at the, where roots will eventually grow. And now I'm watering.
Now, I have to ask you, you know about the hydrogel, but I get the impression you don't like it.
Yeah, I mean, you guys convinced me that it works. Coming here, I was like pretty anti-hydrogel. I was like, I don't think that's a good idea. Like, someone commented on your video, there's no evidence that it works, but it seems like you guys...
It's a no-brainer. It absolutely works, like
right.
100%.
So I believe now that it works, but I'm still hoping there's an alternative.
I would love to find an alternative. For me, the reason I've gone with the hydrogel is that for the amount of time it keeps the water in the soil, it's 20 times more cost effective per hour that it's holding on to water than any organic alternative.
Yeah. Also, I imagine it's way lighter than charcoal mixed with water.
Yeah, charcoal holds 3 times its weight in water.
Okay.
Hydrogel holds 100.
Wow, okay. Big difference.
I love biochar. I mean, it has extra benefits like the microbial life and it's a nutrient sink, but the hydrogel holds a lot more water.
Yeah. I guess I'm just like, I have a bias against using it because it's plastic. It's petroleum based, as far as I know.
So I've been told, and I'm not an expert, that it's not actually a plastic.
Okay.
I don't know the difference of what plastic is chemically, but a guy that did his PhD in hydrogels, and he's a professor of chemical engineering, said that it's not a plastic. And I was like, oh, okay. And he said when it breaks down into what people are calling microplastic, it's really just a micro hydrogel.
Okay.
So it is small, but I added it to put water in the soil,
Yeah.
and it just holds water in the soil. So I'm
Yeah.
I'm fine with it.
Right. Yeah. I'm no chemist.
Yeah.
and If the PhD chemist says it's fine, then I'll take his word.
I'm
for
sure
it.
there's another PhD chemist out there furiously typing a comment as we speak.
Yeah. I guess we'll know in 100 years.
Okay, so the motivation for this was because Daniel's working on the sitting area in the first place,
Yeah.
where we've got a couple of trees and cactus planted, which you helped with. And then we already have these beds that we made during a seminar last year with Centropic Solutions, and which is doing really well. And then now we have this fence because you wanted to save the Ocotillo from, we're going to move the solar panels and put them where we bulldozed. You cleared all that brush to get some use out of it. And then when we clear this area, it was also your suggestion that that would be a fantastic place for some trees that don't interfere with the future construction plans.
Yeah. I think it's going to look like a beautiful garden sometime soon.
Well, it's certainly a lot easier when the water's right here.
Yeah. With the high winds, it's hard to water like more than 10 feet. The wind just knocks the water away.
We only have 50 foot of hose, so.
Like I can't even reach you with the hose, just the wind. After I water, I'm gonna then bury the area a little bit more so the wet part's not exposed to the sun tomorrow morning.
Nice.
Yeah. So hopefully the water will stay underground.
Just a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, in a way, it's almost good you ran out of canes because I don't think the water would get to where you're trying to go. I think this is literally the extent of about how far you can get the water.
Yeah, exactly.